we are intertwined and intertangled in so many different dimensions of so many different realities that we can jump to any one of them in an instant. So if your
Right.
mindset changes in an instant, it's like Bonezee had a great analogy several months ago of like a big rope. It's all twisted together, but it's all little teeny tiny strands that are all woven together throughout this rope. But
Yeah.
each one of those strands is a different dimension that we can just jump to, or a parallel reality, however you want to think of it. Probably more accurate to say parallel reality. But we can jump to that at any given time, right? So if something triggers you, you get pissed off, boom, you're in that reality. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Veil. I'm Alan. This is Bonezee. What's up,
What's happening? Before we get started, I never ever say this. You better like, share, subscribe, and then subscribe to my channel or I'll hunt you down.
Hunt you down. I get
like
you.
a filthy animal. Just kidding.
Well, yeah, we never do say that. I tend to get away from that, but it's something that I know people that just start watching it, just,
Right.
Don't.
Yeah,
think
but I think
the like button or not.
I think if you actually, I've been starting to realize if you ask people, they'll do it. If you don't, they won't. So
yeah. Well,
hey, we're asking.
Yeah.
Hey,
and quick shout out to Clark, who has been a subscriber to our channels for a long time. I just seen a comment. It was held for review for some reason when I didn't put any comments to be held for review. But I just noticed it right before we started filming this. He said his family has the Rona, so our thoughts and energies will be going out to you and your family.
Yes.
All right.
And your kids.
Yeah.
And your boys.
Yep. Yeah. My kids
positive
and
energy,
my ex-wife are in quarantine right now for the same reason. So far, so good. No major issues. And everybody's doing good. So I'm grateful for that.
Yep.
So on to the show.
Yes.
I really want to start trying to get an episode in every week. That way we can just keep doing this, because I'm not really creating a lot of content on my own. So I'm hoping this kind of kickstarts that and gets me moving into that.
There you go. Yeah, you can sometimes either take what we talk about and then elaborate more on it, maybe.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But before the show, we was talking about, and that's what I was, like we always say, we always, before we turn the camera, what we're going to talk about, I don't know. What'd you say we was going to name it?
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to talk about or something like that. That was going to be the name of it. But anyway, I just want to talk about an experience that we had, because everybody's like, just with everything going on, there's one thing after another. You go to buy this, it's not there. You go to join this or go to, like whatever you did last year, Black Friday, just all the things that you used to do are starting to crumble away. And each one of them is starting to, we're all being really positive. And we're trying to stay positive here, but you can't deny that when you're getting picked at and chiseled at and chiseled at and picked at, I'll admit, dude, I'm spoiled. I'm an Amazon, like Prime, me and Prime, and we got it going on, you know what I mean? And I'm spoiled on getting my shit. And when I go out and buy things, I'm spoiled, I've been spoiled like the rest of us. So let's just say everything's, you got everything going on. And then you got, let's say you're just normal life things. Me and her, she's got, I've not made it a secret that she got cancer 7 or 8 years ago. And, so there's things, we're always having to go back and do tests and things like that. So right now we're in that process of there's something going on and they have to test it and blah, blah, blah. So we're nervous, sort of. And when we leave, when we go to her cancer specialist stuff, we always go to this certain restaurant, and it's her favorite salad bar in town. And it's always real good and fresh and good salad bar. You know what I mean? Well, before that, we went to get the tree. And so we went to the place where we usually get a tree. There's no tree. So we went down to the expensive place where they have the high dollar trees, no trees. So we went to the other place where we never go to get trees, no trees. We're like, what the fuck, So we can't find a Christmas tree, man. I'm like, wow, this is weird. So she even called them and they said, oh, we don't expect to get any Christmas trees. So anyway, We go to our doctor, and of course that's got you nervous and you're on pins and needles. We got to wait 2 weeks for the biopsy results, blah blah blah. So go to a restaurant, salad bar ain't there. You know what I mean? There's nobody in there. It's just like a desolate. The place is even dirty. I mean, it just has changed over the last 3 or 4 months since we were there. Completely different feel, vibe, the whole thing. No, and you're sitting there and you get to where after a while you're like, this stuff starts chiseling on you. And I literally had to, I sort of meditated at the table, just a brief couple breaths, and just, I had to just let it go, man. I had to let everything go because there's a lot of other things, that's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And then you got to go here. Can't even enjoy your shopping experience. You got to wear a mask and just all this dumb shit. And if you pull your mask down, you got these vultures with their eyeballs this big, like you're trying to kill them. And it's, oh my God, it's just like, you can't really find this experience, this happy experience like we used to. Well, the sad thing is the used to experience was superficial, and it has to do with prosperity and that type of consciousness. It has to do with, what we can buy, what we can get, how much we can save, who's going to get what for what. So, and doing all those things that you do, your traditional things, we always have hot chocolate here, and we always go down here and do. So what I'm trying to say is you got to let it go. You got to let it all go. It was what it was. Don't ever expect it to be what it was. If it ever comes back, great. But you got to just let it go, not have predisposed expectations of anything anymore. You can't expect anything from an election to go the way it's supposed to going to buy a Christmas tree the way it's supposed to. Nothing is going to be the way it's supposed to be. So you have to. There's like in the Tao Te Ching, or is it the Tao or whatever, when they talk about being like water. What they're trying to say is, because they talk about a lot about I think Confucius is the one that talks about life. Is about suffering. It's about suffering. We've created this life where there's no suffering. It's actually been to our detriment. And so human beings, you're not really put here to suffer, but suffering is part of your experience, man. It's just part of it. So you got to get tough, and you're going to have to be able to move like water, and you're going to have to be able to change your patterns, your ideas, what you think the way things should be, these ideals, these ideologies that have to do with religion and politics especially. You got to let that shit go. You got to really, really let go of everything right now, dude, if you want to survive. Because if you don't, you're going to be fucking mauled over. I hate to say it like that, but things are going to change and shift. You already see it, you already feel it, and you're like, man, this is weird. This is weird. And every day you're saying, oh, that's weird. That's weird. Boy, that seems weird. And everybody's like, oh, we're in weird times, and everybody's trying to act like it's normal and they're happy. They're like, everybody's putting on this facade, but deep down, everybody is fucking about to come unglued, So something can cause something to snap, and everything else could change. So I'm just saying, let go of all your ideas, let go of all the stuff. I mean, we're still going to have our traditional Christmas. We're still going to do things, and I told her we're getting down like that. But if I can't find a tree, which we ended up driving another town over, and what's crazy is we got like 60,000 people in this city, no Christmas trees. You go over to the little rich town over here where there's only like 10,000 people, and they got some nice ass trees. Of course, they cracked your head, but
yeah,
we got a tree. We got a fresh tree. We was going to go cut one down. We know where there's a couple nurseries. I was like, we're going to get a tree. I can get a fresh tree, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a fresh tree. It's coming in my house. Should have had one for sale.
I got a fake Christmas tree. And
yeah, some people like fake, but we're
I mean, I'm never home. You know what I mean? So it works perfectly
right
for now. I used to have that. That was kind of like what we did. We used to go cut down a tree and do that, and then it's just a mess.
It is, and it's hard to cut down. It's hard to cut down a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
that is a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah,
that pine, especially with that skinny blade. I mean,
yeah. So a lot of stuff you were talking about made me think of a video Lori Ladd did last night, and what she was talking about is that we are all quantum beings. We're all multi-dimensional beings. So we're all having human experience. We're all also existing on multiple dimensions, multiple planes, and all of them are real. You have to honor all of them, right? So if
Right.
you're in this 3D experience feeling pain and anger and frustration and shit just isn't working out, or it is whatever it is, you just gotta honor that. You know, that's your experience. That's what you're going through. And
Right.
everything happens for a purpose. Everything, even what's going on right now on the planet. It's all for a purpose. And she was talking about what she was and I know a lot of people could relate to this, that there was this little restaurant that was going out of business that got shut down, and right across the street from that restaurant was like a Hollywood set where there's, you know, picnic tables double stacked all the way down the street, where and they're all crowded full of people eating at whatever this was. um
Yeah.
but the place across the street it was shut down, just a little mom and pop shop. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff is happening, and it's been
Right.
happening, and a lot of things have already been shut down and closed down, and they're not coming back. You know, it's
Right.
in a way, it's I don't know. It depends on what your point of view is. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
purge
You can
of a
look at
lot
it
of
as
these things, and
opportunity.
but
You can.
it's also a purge. I mean, a a I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. The big
It's a
corporation
transmutation.
businesses are getting bigger. You know, they're putting all the little ones out of business because they just have it all. They have the infrastructure, they have the support, and they're not going anywhere. But the little, you know, individually mom and pop owned places are struggling, and they can't maintain and survive through this. And it's a shame, but it is. It's a restructuring of the world. It's not just this country, it's the world. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, you know, it's nothing's going to be the same as it used to be. Nothing's going back to what it used to be. So we do all have to be very fluid in that, and allowing and adapting to the new world as it comes. But at the same time, still want to hold that happiness, that joy, and that, but
Right.
not have it be a facade. You know what I mean? But truly
Well,
be happy.
you can't. Your joy has to be. It doesn't have to. You know, we got to get out of this prosperity consciousness, dude. Everybody that even if you watch videos on law of attraction, see, this prosperity consciousness, this healing shifted from what was actually healing. Like in the 1900s, there was this cat named I'll think of it in a minute, but you know, think and grow rich, and then The Secret, and all those things came out. So there was this mindset, and then there was this flourish of how America blew up, and everybody started making money. It used to be just all these people up here were making the money, and everybody was in the factories, and there wasn't a lot of, well, after the wars, that changed. And if you really was willing to work, you could actually better yourself and really get a house and a car and all this shit, right? So we've got this prosperity consciousness. Well, as that goes on, you know, when you get the car, you need the garage. You get the car, you need the new tires. And one thing after another. Next thing you know, you got an air conditioner, you got a big screen TV. You know, you got all these luxuries, all these things, because you keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Well, as human beings, we've made ourselves. It's the worst thing ever, because it's going to be to our own demise if we're not careful. We're so smart that we know how to make our life easy. Well, by making our life easy, I forget the cat's name who really goes into detail about this, but we take away from our own strengths. Like when we learned how to make the tractor, we used to walk behind a horse and fucking have to hold that thing and plow, you know, by hand. Man, your rib, your lats right here and your shoulders were fucking. You was a beast. You was chopping wood. I mean, as a man, you're fighting animals, wolves, whatever. You could run fast, and you were fit like you are, not like me, and it's like you were the better version of yourself. And but you're so smart, you made a tractor to make things easy. And so as we go, our body also evolves the same way. We become these fat, lazy slobs who can't even do like we used to do. We can't even function. And our bodies will literally evolve into that lesser version, lesser human version of what we are supposed to be. Dude, we're not supposed to be these pieces of shit that we are. We're supposed to be like, you go out here and look at LeBron James fucking slam dunking shit and his big muscular ass. That's what we're all supposed to be. We're all supposed to be fit and, you know, beast. We're humans, dude.
Well,
We're like the
yeah,
best thing there is.
yeah, but
And
it takes it to
we
your
half
own.
of us couldn't run down the block.
Nah,
Huh?
no, yeah, I couldn't hardly run up the stairs 2 years ago.
Yeah. You know,
And that's, you know, that's something I really, that caused a lot of depression for me too. But it's all like, we have all the technology and all the luxuries now, so it's all about self accountability. So you have to hold yourself accountable for doing that, because you are using those technologies and these things to become
you can shift
complacent,
them.
and you're
You can
not doing
shift.
anything. Yeah.
You can
So
shift.
yeah, so as part of that, you gotta, you know, make your mind up and decide if you are happy being, you know, overweight and out of shape, or do you want to do something about it? You know, and just take one little step. I don't know if it was me. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about their mother, um, and how she would, like, you know, when he was a kid, like, you can just go walk to McDonald's and work if you really wanted to. It was like 12 miles away. And he's like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And then, you know, she's like, well, I really want to get in shape, but, you know, I don't have time to go for a walk. And she's a stay-at-home mom, and the kids are like adults. And you know what I mean? Like, so like,
Yeah.
mom, just
Yeah.
walk down the street, walk down to the next street over, and then come back. And then the next day walk to, and she was like, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you got to take a little bit of action. And every day, if you just take that one step and then take another step the next day, and just keep taking it a little further. Like when I first started working out, I was a lot weaker than I thought I was. And I just did a little bit more every day, a little bit more every day. I always try to do one more than I did the day before. And it's
Yeah.
really, in 6 months' time, I've had such a transformation in my body now, which I feel like was the last thing that needed to happen. Like, I was 265 pounds 3 years ago. And, you know, 2 years ago, I was 180 pounds. And last year, I dropped down to 150 pounds. And, well, really, the end of 2019 to now, I've been 150 pounds until 6 months ago. I started working out. Now I'm like 160 pounds, but I'm fit. You know what I mean? I'm in really good shape
Right.
now, and I feel great about it. And it gives you more energy. Like, I love it so much. And I don't have time to do it. You know, that was my excuse. I don't have time. I work 12 hours a day. I get up. I got to have time to meditate, time for this routine and this thing. And I was like, I just don't have time. So I started with 20 minutes a day. 15 minutes is what I started. Then it was 20 minutes. And then it was a half an hour. And then it went to an hour. You know, so I would spend an hour to an hour and a half every morning, you know, working on myself, on my
Mhm.
body. You know, that's important to me now. And now it's like, once you get started, you create that momentum, and your body really, really enjoys it. And then you don't
Have
feel
to.
good if you don't do it. You know, if the
Right.
days I rest and don't work out, or like, I don't have the same
It's like
energy that I
sleeping
did
in.
when I spent an hour in the gym. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you need that. You after you get used to it, your body needs it, your cells need it, your whole entire
Hmm.
body needs it.
Yeah.
But and it's because a lot of it has to do with the breathing and the rhythm of what your body is getting used to. Your body starts to learn how to get into was a circadian rhythm or whatever. It
Yeah.
gets into the right rhythm. It gets into the right breathing, the right, you know, the everything's pumping like it's supposed to. Like I say, we're supposed to be different versions. And my point earlier, I was trying to make, and I kind of got off guard on that prosperity, off track there. But what I was trying to say is that we have like, okay, had this idea that you know, the big house, the big car, this and that, you know, the blonde wife with the big 36 C's and the whatever, you know, everybody, they sell this image of what is perfection or whatever you're supposed to be trying to get rich, you know, basically. So, and everybody's striving for that, and everybody's self-worth or the belief in themselves has to do a lot with where they set in uh, that ladder of, you know, prosperity. So now there's people that were up here getting knocked down. There's people down here who've been down. there's going to be a big shake, and there's going to be a lot of people who just don't know without looking towards the future and thinking, you know, my goal is to have this house. First, I'm graduating college, having this house, I'm having this car, and I'm having, and they've got that idea of that, and they don't have any other idea that there could be any other idea, that there could be any other like goals besides that. Like that's not even, you can make that not even a goal. Like that doesn't even matter. Maybe you want to, you know, improve your IQ to 160, or, you know, be a body, whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe you're thinking of something a little bit different than money, 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 you know, and prosperity. And because I'm telling you right now, man, you better start unplugging from that kind of an idea for a while, because if you just know anything about money and economics, and if you just know a little bit about the economy and how all this works, and yeah, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a little bit of a crunch. It's going to, you know, you call it a depression, recession, whatever you want to call it, but things are going to get a little bit worse than they are. You know, I can't sugarcoat that shit. I can't sit here and act like everything's going to be fine, because I just don't feel that. I don't feel that. And I ain't trying to cause fear, but I feel like it's my duty to at least tell people what I feel. You know what I mean? Because I've been on it. My shit's been on it. And everything I've been feeling has been sort of coming to fruition. So I just feel like you need to completely change what you consider your future, what you consider your hopes and dreams. Maybe your hopes and dreams should be something more attainable. And it shouldn't have to do with money, 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 man. Dude,
Well,
that's the rabbit hole.
yeah, for me, you know, we do need
I mean,
money.
money's good.
It is a tool to survive in this
Mm-hmm.
matrix. But yeah, I mean, you do have it.
Don't
And you
measure
can,
yourself from it.
right. So that's more of me. And the amount of money you make has a lot to do with your self-worth, what you feel you're worth. Um,
These
and
days.
right. And for me, it was always more about, if I am centered, if I'm balanced, if I have, you know, if I keep that energy, you know, and that
Right.
I'm working to make money, but at the same time, my real intention is to help people. You know what I mean? Because when
Yeah.
I come in contact people, you're in my energy, so I try to stay in that really good energy. You know what I mean? I keep
Right.
myself in
Right.
that aligned state as best as I can, and I share
Yeah.
that with a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people. So it's really
Right. There's nothing wrong with
really good
making
about it.
money.
But like, if you stay balanced, you have good intentions, you know what I mean? Like, as far as you're not out to like screw someone over to try to make some money, you're just there trying to be a better version of yourself every day, and and just do the right thing. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
operate in your integrity, and do what feels right to you. And if you do that, and if you're in a place, I mean, the money will come. The money's going to come.
Right.
If
Right.
you just feel and trust that the universe has your back, which it does. I mean, you're never alone. You're always surrounded by, you know, your angels, your guides, whatever you want to think of them as.
Right.
So you can always call on them for power. And it's funny. I've been seeing well, I see 33 all day, every day, but I've been seeing a lot of 333s. And a friend of mine looked it up and sent me like the meaning to it, and also with 444. So 444 is like your angels are there, you know, making you aware that they're there. And 333 is like you're loved by your angels. You know what I mean? They want you to know that, you know, there's more than that, but that's just the gist of it.
Yeah.
So there's always signs and synchronicities around us. If we stay in that alignment, if you're in that aligned state, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be everywhere. If you meet somebody and start seeing all those synchronicities, that's literally how I judge. Like, you know, I'm a really good, I can read somebody really quickly. You know what I mean? I can
Salesman.
really
It's from
feel
being a
their
sales.
energy.
It's from being a salesman, brother. That's part of our job. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
If you, it's
I
like,
can.
yeah.
Yeah, I can read that. If someone's trying to be deceitful or someone's lying to me, I feel it. I see it. I don't even like. You know. I just know. And I've always been that way. But now that been doing sales for so long, it's just, they can start a sentence and I know where it's going to end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I know
Right.
where they're going and what they're saying because I've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
And there's only so many different types of personalities out there.
Right. You got the budget people who are looking for
Yeah.
the cheap. You got the people who are looking for the top notch. Then
Hmm.
you got people who are looking for the top notch cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah. I was thinking about doing I forgot where I was going with everything else now, but whatever. That's how it goes. I was thinking about I created a TikTok channel and I was thinking about just doing one as the life of a car salesman. I think that would be pretty interesting. Just all the shit
yeah.
that I experience on a day-to-day basis, like
I've
like
heard that platform's taken off, ain't it?
it is. It really is. And I started one for this conscious evolution. I linked it to the YouTube channel and all that stuff. But I haven't created any content yet. So I will probably do that. It's a different platform. Like it's a couple second video, you know what I mean? As soon as we like a
Yeah.
15 to 30-second video. Um, so it's different for me. It's a different setup, a different format I'm not used to. So I'm trying to be creative and figure out how I can do that. So, but yeah, I really do want to start making a lot more content, and I want to transition more into doing more online things because everybody's going to be online, and they are right now. Like,
Right.
so I want to have exposure. I just want to get out
Yeah.
there and be able to touch more people's lives because I feel like this year of 2020 has just kind of been work, 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 work. All I've been doing is working. All my time and energy is going to working.
All I've been doing is playing.
That's
I
good.
have, dude.
That's good, man. I mean, a lot of people are doing a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people are suffering. Oh, that's where I was going. So I wanted to take this with everything that's going on, and it is probably getting worse, right? It is with everything, with the election, with whatever.
There's
Whatever the
absolutely no way it
outcome, no
couldn't.
matter which way it goes,
Yeah.
it's going to get bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to what we were talking about yesterday in our conversation, we were talking about not choosing a side. So let's keep that middle ground, right?
Being gray. Be the gray
Yeah,
man.
stay in that gray area, that gray zone. You don't want to
Here's
pick Democrat.
go
You don't
ahead.
want to pick Republican because they're both, wings of the same bird. It's all part
Thank
of the
you.
same system. It's all
Yeah.
the same. It's not in your best interest. None of it is.
It's a play, dude. They're
Yeah.
all characters in a big play. It's shifting a certain thought and it's so obvious if you can back up from it and allow yourself to really back up from it and just be open to all of it and say that they're all actors, every single one of them, you'll see it. You'll literally see it. It's like it's so clear, but you
Yeah.
have to you can't pick anybody and say, oh, I like him. I like, nope, none of them. They're all, and then you can see it. You're like, oh, wow, it's so obvious. And they're bad actors. They're horrible. They can't even act good. They're terrible. But what I was want to say is a couple of things that people can say is like, just always, just say, yeah, you're making a good point. Always let that person know, say, you do make some, you're making some points. I understand what you're saying. I understand it, and just leave it. Next guy comes over, he's saying the opposite shit. He's on the left. He's Black Lives Matter guy or whatever. Say, yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're making good points. You're making good. Yeah, I understand. And let it be, man. Fucking get away from it. Just get away from it because it's all designed. It's all designed to separate. It's all designed to create lower frequency bullshit. It's all designed for lower frequency bullshit, dude. We're moving into galactically into that. Everybody knows we're moving into the Aquarius still. Um, our consciousness, everybody's waking up and it's shifting, and they know this, right? So that's why they're pouring it on, dude. They're trying to get you with the election. They're trying to get you with the coronavirus. They're trying to get you with everything they can worldwide because it's not just the United States moving through the fucking universe right now. It's the world. There's a consciousness going on. I got people who talk to me on my channel who are in England, Australia, different. They're around. Everybody is. So they know that this shit's going on. They know this awakening has been, they've talked about it for years and thousands of years. So they've known it's been coming. The dark side has. And they know that all they got to do, everything is thought. Every single thing you touch, every single thing you go around, every single bit of your future comes from your thought.
Yeah.
If they can control your thought, Have you ever seen that Monsters Inc.?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video on this. Perfect analogy of what's going on. Do you remember how when the kids laughed, it blew the light bulbs out? Like there was so much more energy in laughter than there was in fear.
Yeah.
But they could control the fear and bottle that shit. The laughter they couldn't. It was out of control, and it lit up the whole entire. So
Yeah.
that's what it's like. It's like the laughter is like way more energetic than the fear. But the fear, they can control it. They can come out and they can harvest it. They can, put it in their jars and save it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They own that shit.
Yeah.
Love and light and laughter. They got nothing for that. They can't do anything with it.
It's
You
too
know what I
powerful.
mean? So
They can't handle it, and that's the thing. And we talked on this on the last episode, that this is the worse it gets, the worse things are getting, the more fear they're pumping, because they're afraid of losing control. So they're playing their hand, they're playing it to the fullest, and they're trying for like total domination and control, right? Well, this is causing more people to awaken to the corruption, to awaken to what's going on here, to awaken what we're talking about. Don't choose a side. Both sides are corrupt, both sides are fucked. Like they're
yeah,
just
just
the different version of whatever. One's maybe worse
just
than
look.
the other. Maybe one will fast track it more than the other. But
Well,
I
look
mean,
at it
until
like
we
this.
get
If you
someone
went,
really different that has completely different views, it's more of living in their integrity and in the love and honesty, then which we're probably a little bit away from that soon. But Cryon said within the next couple elections, there'll be someone there that will truly shock us. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that part of it. But I mean, there's everything's evolving right now, and the more people that are awakening, that's calls from this, because you can only back someone into a corner for so long before they start seeing that what you're saying doesn't add up with what they're seeing. Because
yeah,
you're saying this one thing on the news, and in every news media outlet in the country, in the world, are all saying the same thing, and
yeah.
then you go out into your world and none of that shit exists when they're telling you it's everywhere, it's here, it's here, it's here. And it's
Well, if you pay attention, like algorithm wise, or just if you look at patterns, I got real like my brain is like an algorithm pattern thing, dude. It's insane. But you'll notice that over the course of history with news outlets, everybody always had all these other ideas. I mean, you could go to another new, there was always like there would be the juice. These guys had the juice on Trump, or these guys had the juice on. But there was always this, but there's no this new narrative. Everybody's on the same page. You can feel that they may try to sound a little bit different, but they always end their sentence with "but," this disclaimer that kind of ties them all back into the same narrative.
yeah,
And you can feel that they're all on there, even though they're trying to look different, they're really still all together. It's like your mom and dad. It's like when you was a kid, if you was a boy, you could play your mom, and if you was a girl, you could play your dad. It's just, I don't know what the dynamics in that was, but that's how it was in my family when my mom and dad were together. And then when I had stepdads, whatever. So, um, your mom might say no, but your dad would say yes. But at the end of the night, they're in bed talking about the strategy, dude. He's like, I'm going to tell her, she thinks that I'm going to, just let her think. And then I'll explain to her why your side, why you make sense saying no, but she thinks I'm on her side. So let her think that, honey. And that's how they motherfuckers are in bed every night together talking about how they're going to do the kids. And we're the kids. And we're like, want daddy, what daddy? These guys over here want daddy. These guys over here want mommy, sucking on the tit, sucking on the ball. It's like, come on, man. Dude, I'm not plugged into any of these motherfuckers. I don't care what the next election. I don't care if they bring Jesus and put him in this. They don't govern me. Nobody governs
no.
me. Nobody. You tell any of them dudes, come to my yard. We'll see what happens.
Oh, and then
Come and
so
govern me.
so so to shift gears for a second,
Okay.
I was watching Naughty Beaver's episode, latest video last night, and he was talking about Gosha Cosmic Agency, where she's has contact with this extraterrestrial Pleiadian Tagetin, Palladian being Swaru. And they were talking about the matrices. So how it's like a matrix within a matrix. So the 3D is a matrix within the 5D matrix, right? So it's like the Pleiadian is also in a matrix, but in a higher resonant frequency. And like a Schumann resonance is our
Yeah.
matrix. That's the energy of this 3D, and that's all over the place. It's spiking because it's changing. It's changing. We're evolving. We're waking up, and the planet is evolving as well. Everything is changing.
Right.
But it was interesting how to see it in that perspective. So this is a matrix, and we all create our realities, right? So by our beliefs, our thoughts, everything that we hold to be true, and in our emotional state is what's going to create your day. So if you go out, we were talking about this yesterday too. If you go outside and you're in that love and happy, then you're going to see that shit everywhere. You're going to see those synchronicities. You're going to be led, and you're probably going to be more open to follow your intuition than you would be when you're in your anger, fear, and any of that.
Brought this up.
And then when you go out and you're pissed off or you're riding down the road with road rage, then everybody around you has that shit too, all of a sudden. And we are intertwined and intertangled in so many different dimensions of so many different realities that we can jump to any one of them in an instant. So if your mindset changes in an instant, it's like Bonezee had a great analogy several months ago of like a big rope. It's all twisted together, but it's all little teeny tiny strands that are all woven together throughout this rope. But each one of those strands is a different dimension that we can just jump to, or a parallel reality, however you want to think of it. Probably more accurate to say parallel reality. But we can jump to that at any given time, right? So if something triggers you, you get pissed off, boom, you're in that reality. And then if you come out within that love, your peace, everything is always working out for me. I just love life. And that's generally my mindset. And I don't concern myself with much else around me. But when I go out in that, it's like everything just flows perfectly.
Right.
You're in that now moment. You're not worried about what's coming up. You're not worried about what happened yesterday. You're just in that flow. And then, we're humans. Something happens. Boom, you get pissed off. And then if you stay in that energy, then all of a sudden it's like nothing works out. You're knocking your cup off the desk. You're throwing, like shit's just falling over. You're tripping over things. Like these things don't work out. There's no sort of flow. You gotta reset almost. And once you can like take a couple of breaths, like what you were saying when you got to a restaurant, you took a couple of breaths, you reset. And you end up going and found a tree, right? That's how we have to be conscious of that and realize when we get into that that's all you got to do is take a second, take a couple of breaths, take a couple of deep breaths and reset your energy. Like, all right, that sucked. We're going to move on in a better energy. And then it's literally a complete shift in your reality.
Right.
Amazing. And I've seen it and tested it and been around other people that, because if you're around someone that's in that anger and fear too, you're going to experience their reality.
Right.
And I've seen it.
Yeah. And I want to just interrupt for just a second because you brought that up, and I wanted to talk about how another tool for people, or at least a tool that I use, is if you think of those, like you was talking about those different realities and those layers, think of those layers like airspace. You got 5,000 feet, 10,000, 20, 30, and you got these jets, and everybody's in a certain airspace. Well, the higher airspace you go, the thinner the air, but the higher the frequency. Well, all these realities are on this like different airspaces, right? And when you feel like you're only flying at 5,000 feet, your frequency isn't up there, you're not positive. That's the air traffic you're going to be in. That's the people you're going to be in, is that frequency. So when you go out, even though the reality is the same, the attitudes, the thoughts, the way they look at you, the way they act towards you, that's going to be different. Everything else may be the same. There might be maybe one or two cars that's different or whatever in these different realities, but everything's pretty much the same except for the consciousness around you. And that consciousness around you is affected by the consciousness that you have, because you are flying in this airspace. You're the one who controls where you're flying. When you control where you're flying, that controls the air traffic you're in. So you have to not go out. I mean, unless you have to. But like if you're in this shitty fucking state of mind, and when you go to Walmart, dude, it's going to be on. You're going to bump into something's going to happen. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be, if you're in the high space, if you know that you're in that frequency, I'm telling you, like I told you, when I'm in that way, people open doors, people are nice, everything goes well. If something goes wrong, like they give me the wrong thing at the whatever, there's none of this resistance and this insecurity and this, you're having to argue with this person. No, you told me that or whatever. Everything goes, oh, they're real smooth about it. But if you're in that low space, man, and she says, and a lot of this is true. She thinks that the look on my face a lot of times when I go up to a counter, she's always told me that I'm always real serious because I've got this salesman. I don't know. I always feel like I have to be serious, like I have to. No, I can't stand a fluffy, oh, suck your ass sell. I can't stand them kind of guys, and I don't never try to be that way. I don't know. But anyway, so I always try to go up and just be kind of serious. Well, she thinks I look mad or something, So she's like, smile, smile. So when I find out that when I do that, even though I'm not even in a good or bad mood, just that pleasant smile disarms that person. It brings them up instead of them being defensive down here in this low frequency and they're ready to fight and be defensive. They're like receptive. They're open up, and you have this least resistance, less resistance in this. You just move through things a lot easier. Life becomes easier. Everything gets a little bit easier. And right now, a little bit easier is a lot. A little bit easier could go a long ways right now,
Yeah.
Hell. Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
That's what I do. Like when I meet someone new, the first thing I do is smile. Like, hey, how are you? I'm such and such, or nice to meet you.
Yeah.
But with a big old smile, because it's inviting. I had a doctor, therapist, or whoever it was many, many years ago when I was in rehab tell me, and I was in a really depressed state at that time, and they were trying to put me on depression and medication and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, thank you. I'll figure it out. That was back in like 2012. But they told me, he's like, smile more. He's like, your face lights up when you smile. And it's like, it just something clicked. You know what I mean? That was like an angel speaking through him at that time. I was like, oh,
right.
I feel better when I smile. So I just started smiling more. And that really changed and started helping me get out of that depression state. And I was like super depressed, addicted to drugs. I just lived on a couch and sat and laid on the couch all day. I woke up, got coffee, sat on the couch, watched TV, and then I slept on that couch. I did that for like over a year, and it didn't work. I didn't do nothing. I had nothing, and I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I couldn't see. How was I gonna get out of this? That's what it was. It's like, how do I get out of this? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I'm just stuck. And I just
it's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah,
it's a slippery.
But that's also that was 2012 when that was like a big shift started happening in my life, and I went through a lot of legal issues and was getting in trouble, and I started making that decision to stop doing drugs, and started that process, and for the most part, I got off of drugs and when my kids were born in 2015, January 15 was the last time I used any kind of drugs, any kind of opiates or anything like that. But yeah, it was like I couldn't see how to get to the end of that tunnel. I couldn't even recognize that there was light. But I was also in a way more toxic and dangerous living situation before, going down in the city, buying heroin, getting pills, shooting drugs. Like I was a fucking drug addict to the fullest extent that you can be. And I lived that lifestyle, and that's dangerous. It's not good for your health in many aspects. So I guess that transition into the depression was that I just needed to sit still for a little bit and figure my way out of that. And I think when the doctor told me to smile and then tried to get me on depression medication, it was when I was like, fuck that. I'm not taking it. He wrote me the prescription and made me take it. and I just never felt it. I'm like, I'm not taking it, but yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. You can do whatever you feel is right. Um,
Oh, they're quick to write them.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't even remember what it was, but I knew I didn't even. I just threw it away. I wasn't gonna do it. But yeah, that's like when I look back and see in 2012 was when all those things started shifting, and it took up until my kids were born in December of 2014, and in 2017 I think is when things started shifting. In 2018 is when I had the vision that really just started me on a whole different course. So before I had that vision, I was in a lot of that fear consciousness. I was just
Right.
doom and gloom, the end of the world, Planet X kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it just really wasn't. It served its purpose. It was the catalyst to the awakening that I experienced.
I was hook, line, and sinker on that Nubaru.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I thought I was hitting this for sure. I didn't know what was
I
happening. I
thought
was
we were
prepared.
done. I done.
Oh
I'm
my
done. Like
God.
my
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and
That's why I don't
yeah,
follow some of these new narratives, like, certain things just that people get on you. I was like, you got to watch it, man. Cause I really thought we was done, man. That thing never
yeah.
came. I was like,
And it's
oh, man.
funny. It's funny because when you're in that and when you're in those communities, like, all right, Planet X has been debunked. It's not real, right? And then there's another narrative. There's something else that's going to cause the same effect because they want you to be in that fear.
Yeah, yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going. There's different stories, different outcomes. It's the political, it's the Civil War, it's this, it's that, it's the vaccine. It's all like going. It's all the same script with a different story.
Right. Right.
Don't choose a side. Don't follow a
Nope.
narrative unless it's
Nope. Don't get bogged down in the mud.
if it's not talking about self-improvement and just really love like that. That's what all the masters on the planet wanted to teach you, that you
Yeah.
are the master. You have what's a good one? Jesus was the master that so many people worship. They worship
Right.
him because they think he's he's the gateway to heaven.
Right.
But
And just before him was Krishna and Zeus, so
right,
there's
and
these characters,
what they're telling
archetypes.
you, if you really read what he spoke, is what he's telling you is that you have what he has.
Yeah.
You are no different than him. You have
None.
those same abilities that he just tapped into. He had
And more, he said.
control over physics. Like he had control over all these.
Energy,
Yeah,
manipulation. He manipulated energy. That's all he did. It's called magic. And a lot
yeah.
of people just hate to use the word. They just hate to do it, man. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's the same thing. You can call it hate, you can call it that, or you can call it belief. They're the same thing. It's the same thing. Thoughts manifesting into reality. Simple as that. There's only been this, metaphysics is metaphysics. Religion has just destroyed it, chopped it up, and divided it and tried to turn it into, but metaphysics is metaphysics. And um, religion just is, but if you study theology and theosophy and you go back into these ancient cultures, you see these narratives, you see uh, the similarities and on the timelines that something happened to everybody on the planet consciously at the same time. These mega building, these megalith built structures, pyramid type structures, ever at the same time. These hieroglyphic, the writings on the walls where there's these half animal, half man, where this all happened. And I'm going to do a video about this, and I'm telling you right now, where all of this come from, where all of these ideas, everything that we've ever come from is from the fucking plants, dude. The plants talked to us, told us, eat us. That's how we had experiences with ETs. It's how we've had experiences with God. It's how we learned religion. It's how we learned how to make a computer. Every fucking thing comes from that connection. When you look and you start to study this, Terence McKenna, dude, it's a whole other rabbit hole, but you really can see, and he makes such great validation points, that how all these people come into these same ideas, around the same time. Just like inventions, we're all conscious evolution. It's this thing, and each each time a man learns something, there's another man over here learning it, right? Because it's coming into the Akashic at the same time, and man has actually built himself the tools intellectually to accept this information.
Yeah.
Before, he couldn't figure it out. You knew what 1 + 1 was, but you never did know what 400 divided by 9, because you didn't know how to do division. So you move your way up consciously as we learn these tools, and as we go. Hell, I forgot what my damn point was. It was good though.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as we go up and we learn, we have the tools, and we can get to where I don't even know, what was I talking about?
If that doesn't show you that there's like a metaphysical aspect to everything, that every single major invention was not just by one person. It was by multiple people doing the same exact invention at the same exact time in human history. So it's not, it's when we as a collective reach a certain energy that information is revealed to us, that information is unlocked. So
not only that, let me just give one more example, and then you can go on. Like the guy that invented the piano and started playing the piano, the next guy that got the piano, he learned it twice as fast, because this guy's information that he learned went into the Akashic, and it was easier for him to receive that information and understand it. And he didn't even, it's just because this man learned and thought of it, and it went into this, prana, the air, where everything is, because this is what everything is made of. Okay, now you can go back to what you said.
Well, that was something else. With the collective consciousness is what creates this reality, right? So Naughty Beaver was talking about when he had his out-of-body experience, and I don't know what was caused. I think it was either him being beat half to death, or when he just had an out-of-body experience. But he said when he was coming back to his body, he could see the room, but it was like just black and white almost. You know what I mean? You could just see like that there was windows there, and that it was just, there was a table or like an outline of it, but he couldn't really see anything until he was plugged into that consciousness. And once he's back in his body and plugged into that consciousness, then everything opened up. So it's once you, like, if you remove that, like he said, he went to like the outer limits of space. You know what I mean? And that was like, it was a completely different viewpoint of everything. I mean, I would imagine so. When you're in your spirit or astral form, things aren't going to be the same as when you're plugged into the collective consciousness through your body and those technologies we have that allow us to see that. But that's interesting. That's really interesting. So we all are plugged into the collective consciousness, but everything that you heal within yourself is also allowing for healing of the collective consciousness. So with that work you do on yourself, it's getting faster. So when people wake up now, they're going through it faster, like I did, like you did. We've gone through this extremely fast. Within a year, we learned so much, but it's already because it's been uploaded to the cloud, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
That cloud is the collective consciousness. And now when people start accessing or going on that path, they can access that information faster. And it just allows for that quickening of the awakening. So I'm really excited about that. The more people that wake up, it's just, and I'm seeing it more and more. There's more things that are like public, and not so much public, but becoming more mainstream, with the people that stop watching the news. I mean, the news has a terrible rating. Like the national media outlet has terrible ratings. Like nobody wants to hear that shit anymore. And so people are going to independent sources, and that's where you can find a lot of good stuff. You can find a lot of bad too, but that's with everything on the internet, But there's more. There's people creating, conscious art, light art. Speaking of that, hold on. I got this painting. I thought it was so cool. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is a place called lightcodeart.com. And this is an abundance painting.
Hey, zoom out, get closer to that. What's in the middle?
Can you see it?
No, it's the lightest, like what is in the? I mean, I can see the dot or the the shape, and I can see the
Oh, in the
dots.
middle of the shape, it's just like squiggly lines. Hold on, I don't know if I can get it. There you go.
Okay, I see it. Cool. Oh yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's
but
bad.
it comes with a meditation too. And there's another one that is for love. You know what I mean? Love and abundance. It's really cool. But there's that shit like that everywhere now. Like you just if you follow the certain people on social media, you can get tapped into these circles, and there's conscious people creating conscious products that are good for you. You know what I mean? All
Right.
natural, organic stuff. Like I found so much of it, and I love it, and that can help change your lifestyle dramatically if you only do one thing for your health.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about earlier when I was talking about getting fit and working out, I wanted to relate it to how it's improved with the spiritual aspect of it too, because I feel like the stronger I get physically, the stronger I get mentally and emotionally and spiritually as well. Like I feel more tapped in more
Right.
often. I'm more tapped in all the time
It's because
now.
your body chemistry, bro. It's because your
Yeah.
chemistry is getting correct. Our brains, man, they rely on a certain amount, of oxygen, a certain amount of blood flow, a certain amount of serotonin and melatonin. And if you can get these things regulated correctly and become an optimal superhuman, you,
Hmm.
dude, you can literally see into other dimensions at will. You can manifest at will. Now, I'm not talking about manifesting money. I'm talking about manifesting energy, which can bring you to money. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They think you just manifest money. No, you have to manifest something to go into motion. You
Yeah.
have to shift it. You have to shift something like the motion of something like, let's say the train's on this tracks and it's not really heading towards you. You can't make the train come and hit you. All you can do is manipulate a little bit of this track down here, a little bit of this dirt where the track, now the train's heading your way. You know what I mean? You can't make the train come. All you can do is manipulate a little bit of energy to change the direction of something, and that will change it. So that's why a lot of people get hung up. But what was you just talking about? Oh, working out. Yeah, that your body, man. You got to have all these, your CSF, your cerebral spinal fluid, all these chemicals in your body. It all starts with the breath. People don't realize how when you breathe, and your heart explodes, boom, and it creates iron, which iron is only created when supernovas explode. Did you know that? You cannot
Yeah.
create iron except for in your heart. It's the only place that it is created on the planet.
Huh.
Iron's man-made, unless it comes and falls from like a meteorite or something from an exploded planet or something like that. So that's amazing, that we create iron. Iron is huge. Iron's huge. So it's when you look into it and you see that the feminine energy in iron and the depletion of it and what's going on with the planet, you can start tying things in to iron itself. But anyway, your heart, boom, it explodes, creates iron, but also it creates what's them platelets of the blood. Anyway, these things go to your lungs. Your lungs hits it with oxygen. Then it goes back and it comes up to your brain. This is what every bit of your neurons, everything in your brain is going to operate optimal. It's like when you start to get your breathing and your blood flow and your diet right and everything starts to go, and it's like adding alcohol, having an alcohol motor in a go-kart or a high performance motor with high performance alcohol versus a diesel that's just sludging around smoking. Still kind of gets where you're going, but you don't have that optimal, you know. And that's where you want to be, man. Because right here, dude, this motherfucker is it. This to me, if I had a choice between being the most smartest man on this planet or billions and billions of dollars and all the money there was, I would be the smartest man on the planet every time. I don't care about money like that. Being smart and optimal thinking and looking and figuring out what I'm doing here and what my goal is, what I'm supposed to be doing, and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and being what I'm supposed to be. That's what matters to me, man. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Your sound cut out again. It's really weird.
Oh, okay.
It does it every time at like an hour. It's like clockwork. It's almost the exact same time every time. It just like nope, Bonesy's voice is weird now. It's really weird.
Oh, it turns into that little speaker voice.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it is right now. Well, you just sucked on some helium. Oh man, I lost my whole train of thought with that. It just threw me off.
I think we got a show, bro.
Yeah, I think we do.
I really just wanted to talk about new tools to deflect, be Teflon on, and then knowing how to get out in the world only when you're when you're flying high, man. Because um, right now, attracting what you're gonna attract is like never before. You're gonna attract shit so fast it'll just blow your mind. You have a thought, you'll attract it. And that's why they're trying to control our thoughts right now because they know that we're in this whole other spatial dimension, astrologically wise, you know what I mean, or whatever. So for us consciously, it's part of where we're at in space. Literally, it's part of this evolution. It's part of the evolution. So, and they know that. So that's why magic. That's why people are, when they have this awakening, they're all saying, man, I had this crazy shit happen. And they're trying to tell you all these crazy things that happened to them, and it sounds unbelievable. It's believable. Shit's going down, man. You're seeing shit because you can now, like you couldn't before. You used to have to be like a shaman and really know how to dial in because we were in such a dark place, in space. And now we're moving into that golden age, we're moving into that enlightened age, we're moving into that space where we're connected more, we're connected to source, and we have power, man. And you're taking it away day by day just by chiseling each thing away from a Christmas tree, a salad bar, put on your mask, this, that, still in the election, not still in the election, they're coming back for, all this shit, just one thing after another. It doesn't allow you to get into that good space. And when we can't, and if we all would just stay steady at it, stay in the good space, stay at it, stay at it, stay at it, stay at it, because there's more people waking up. Just keep at it, see what happens. It's not our only weapon, really. It's really our only weapon right now.
Yeah.
A gun's not going to help you with what's going on the planet right now. It's literally going to take this brain right here, the logical side of your brain, the subjective side, I believe it's called, going back to the objective side, the female side, because that's the intuitive side. That's the side that's connected to source. And that's why they're trying to logically fuck you up, because that's why men can never figure shit out like women can. Women can feel their way through it, and they can make those decisions more correctly. Men can be led astray with logic or greed or, some kind of breadcrumb that a man logically thinks, oh, he's overthinking it. He gets himself caught up into a trap and he never went with his gut or his left side or his right side of the brain, which is where your intuition, creativity, your whole entire connection with God or source or whatever, that's where it's at. So enough of that shit.
And that's where they're trying to disconnect you from. They want to disconnect you from source. So you're more rooted in this experience, and because your connection to source is the most powerful tool that you have.
Right.
The most powerful tool that you have is that you are connected to source. I mean, it's that gives me the chills. You know what I mean? Like that's so powerful and so overwhelming sometimes. Like it's like my whole head's vibrating now because I can feel that connection to source. I feel that connection to spirit, to my guides, to everything. My meditations in the morning are only to connect with the source. That's all I want to do. I want a hug from my angels, and I get it. I feel it. I ask for it. I bring them into my space, and they're always there. But if you invite them into like your energy field, that's my favorite thing to do. And then once you get into that energy, it feels so good. Then I can blank my mind and go wherever I go. And that creates my body to balance and reset, because when you can just boom and just go, I mean, it's phenomenal. At 15 minutes of doing that, you can get into that space that quick and spend 5 minutes without thinking. You're golden, dude. Your day's gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like, even if it shit happens or shit pops off, your day's still good because you had that experience. Like,
Right. And you'll notice that, and a lot of people that awaken, I always feel like they awaken to the feminine energy, because you'll notice that men, or at least with me, my experience, and I felt like I've seen it with other guys, but when they awaken, you look at you'll look at shit and cry, like the trees or the rabbit or something. It'll just catch you. You'll see it in a whole different way, and it'll get you literally choked up or emotional. Like, I'm looking at squirrels and rabbits out here, and even trees and stuff, dude, and it just catches me, and I don't logically separate it and disclaim it. I can feel it. I can see God in it. I can feel God in it. I can feel me in it. I can feel it. I can feel I'm a part of it. It's a part of me, and it's all a part of God. And so I can feel that for just a second. So I feel like, part of the awakening is because Mother Earth, I think, is feminine energy, I think they say, or whatever. So I think it's just us, really feeling, just what it's like to be God, or to be with God, or to be a part of God, or just, to be in that painting, instead of being separate. And we're logically thinking, well, if I tithe 10% and I go to this church, I'm in. You know what I mean? All I got to do is this little saying here, and I'm good as gold. You know what I mean? I can go fuck everybody all day long. Yeah. But I don't know. I shouldn't say that shit, but you know what I mean?
I do. But yeah, it's good.
And with that,
and good episode. As Bonezee's voice comes back now we're ending.
Oh, was I still talking in that?
Yeah, man, it's been going in and out, and then now it's back. Now we're good.
Damn.
I know.
You guys missed some good shit.
Had to stop talking and then wait for it to reset and then finish the show.
Yeah,
it's weird. It took about 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes, I think, of that. That's so crazy.
Hey, what we ought to do is go back and look and see the rhythm or the algorithm of it, and see if there is a certain time that it happens. Yeah. And start cutting our shows short right at that time, right.
Yeah, I think it's right around the hour. It was an hour and 20, but I think I was on here. Anyways, yeah. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for those who left the comments. If your comment didn't show up on the previous video, it's there now because I approved it. I don't know why they were holding the comments again, but thoughts and prayers go out to Clark and his family. You send good energy vibes to me, my kids, my family, and anyone that's going through it right now. It is flu season, so I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be getting sick right around this time of year, which usually happens. So, just keep as much vitamins as you can, a lot of vitamin C, vitamin D. I take supplements every day for that. And even before that, I never get sick. Like, I never get sick.
Right.
I don't believe that's like, I just don't get sick. That's my belief, that I don't get sick, and I don't get sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I might get the sniffles or the cold or something, but I don't get sick. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I was just like that in last year, and I ain't trying to bust your bubble, but I'm just like you, man. I think like that. I've always been that way. I'm not getting sick. And even if I do get sick, I remember when I was young, when I started feeling something coming on, I used to go lay in the snow, make snow angels, show how tough I wasn't fighting like I don't know what I thought I was an idiot, It probably made things worse, but I thought I made myself better. And I did. I honestly would get better because I'd fucking say I'm getting better. Mm-hmm. But, and that's how I believe. But last year, man, in December, I don't know if it was that corona, whatever they're calling it. But they called it an upper respiratory infection is what they called it. Mm-hmm. But it tore me, dude. I felt like somebody hit me in the back with a baseball bat. I couldn't breathe. I ended up in the emergency room, man. My blood pressure was 180 over like 140 something, 148 or something. It was crazy. It was like, they were like, holy shit, But they didn't do that for me. They sent me home, gave me antibiotics. Did they give me antibiotics? I think they gave me antibiotics, or told me to take ibuprofen or something. Nothing. Go home and die.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I saw a lot of people go through it. Everyone at work had it before it became a thing. Now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody had it except for me, and that's something that I was just like, well, I really do believe my beliefs create my reality now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is. Thank you all for joining us here today. We love you so much. Thank you, Bonezee. I know we started early today. I mean,
yes.
I got leave down today, man. I was sleeping. I had trouble getting up. I passed out on the couch last night. And anyways, let's just end the show, then we can talk. All right, guys. I love you. We love you.
Love you.
Change that you want to see in this world. Love whoever you love, but most of all, love yourself.
Love yourself. Yes. Starts there anyway. You can't love anybody until you love yourself.